What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants and old hate. So, listen. Errol Spence says he's going to clean up his side of the street. He expects Terence Crawford to clean up his side of the street. After he does that, they'll meet, they'll clash. He's going to take Terence Crawford's belt. We're hearing firsthand Errol Spence has signed the contract. Terence Crawford hasn't signed the contract. Then we're hearing firsthand Terence Crawford has signed the contract, and he's waiting for Errol Spence to sign the contract. So we're sitting here trying to juggle between what's what, who did what, what's going on, what's all the controversy. I mean, like, what do y'all think?
If you're asking me, I think both of them motherfuckers is full of shit.
Okay. And on that note, let me say this. It's not about who you like more than the other, or if you don't like this guy, you do like this guy, whatever. It's just about doing the right thing. Make things happen. We don't know all the details of what's going on. We don't even know what's going on as far as the negotiations. We're just hearing he said, she said. And truthfully, it's like this part of boxing, this part of the game, it's annoying because all you want is the fight. But when you start having all these stories, well, it's confusing, right? Then you want the truth. Well, what's happening? What's the holdup? Two elite fighters, two of the pound for pound best fighters there are right now. And again, we have a holdup. This is for Undisputed. What I don't understand about fighters, the mentalities are different, obviously, but what I don't understand about these fighters is instead of them big up in this fight, hey, look, man, this is an honor for us, man. We're two of the best fighters in the world. The world is going to be watching us. We're going to put on a show for the boxing world to see. This is a must-see fight. You need to tune in. Instead, fighters are, this guy can't do this, he can't do that, he's not this, he ain't done nothing, blah, blah, blah. And you make people, you push people away more than you pull them in talking like that because you're making it sound like your opponent is not worthy. This is for Undisputed. I mean, what more do you need to say? Do you want the fight or do you not want the fight? Especially when you have made it known that, this is the fight I want. What did Errol Spence say after his last fight against Ugas? He said, Terence Crawford, I'm coming for that motherfucking belt. So, basically, Terence Crawford responded with his tweet, I'll be waiting, right? Okay, so, I mean, like, do you see a real interest in this fight from the fighters? Do they seem like they really want to fight? I mean, I want to know what do y'all think about the fight? What do y'all think?
Huh? I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I know this is bullshit.
Well, okay then. Well, let me say this then. I respect both of these fighters. True at 147. Errol Spence has done more. Terence Crawford, what he's done at the lighter weights, 35 and 40, is what solidified him as one of the pound for pound best fighters in here. But there's always going to be people with an argument. There's always that's always going to be subjective to people, whether it's genuine hate or whether they're genuinely just saying they don't see. Well, there's no way you can see Terence Crawford fight and not feel like he's one of the very top three, top two, maybe number one. Okay, but there's no way you can watch him fight and not feel like that guy is up there. Because I'm not going to shit on. I'm not going to say about it. I'm not going to put anybody in the number one spot. I'm just going to say this. He has company. He has company. And whether you like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, or Tank Davis or not, all of them are up there. So it's still a situation where this guy is worthy. At 147, no, he has not done what Errol Spence has done. Now, for the people that think that because Roy Jones and Tarver and Paulie and them had their opinions, but for the people that think that Terence Crawford is going to be a whitewash, I don't see this fight going 6 rounds and all of that. You're saying this because Roy and Antonio Tarver said it, but at the end of the day, what's going to happen is going to happen. I think Paulie was the only one out of them 3 that said something different. I think he favored Errol Spence, but I'm going to tell you this. Whether you favor Spence or whether you favor Crawford, it's a fight that needs to happen. Okay, it needs to happen. And I don't understand why fighters, they act like they get offended when they're called out by another elite fighter. So when you are trying to choose sides based on who you like, it doesn't change reality. Okay, the thing is, we don't know what that reality is of what's holding a fight up, who's at fault, whose team is at fault, what side is causing the friction, the hold up, the delay. And then also, it doesn't change the reality of what's going to happen in that ring. What if Spence knocks out Crawford in 6 rounds? You don't know what's going to happen. Spence may win. Crawford may win. Somebody's going to win, right? Like I always say, somebody's got to win. Somebody got to lose. Possible draw, possible robbery. You understand what I mean? But as far as like who's who and people are choosing sides, and my thing is based on what we see it here. I mean, do you think it's Spence? His side, or you think it's Crawford's side? I mean, I just want to know what y'all think.
Listen, man. Me not trust none of them boy that road boy. I lie them a tell. Me not trust them for a bumbo clot no.
Okay then. Well, on that note, let me say this. Take the fanboyism out of it and just look at the fighters. That's what I do. A lot of these fighters now don't pay attention to the past. But if you're talking about Sugar Ray Leonard versus Thomas Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, versus Marvin Hagler, Muhammad Ali, versus Joe Frazier. If we're talking about, all these fights from the past and everybody fought everybody, if you're talking about Holyfield versus Bo, if we're going to talk about these fights, Pernell Whitaker versus Julio Cesar Chavez, Oscar De La Hoya versus Felix Trinidad, if we're going to talk about these great fights, and you realize these fighters don't even really watch the old stuff, they don't really pay attention to it. They're like, that's them, that was their thing, this is our time. It's a different mentality and a different understanding now. And if you realize that, you see, these guys don't even know how to promote a big fight. They think promoting a big fight is insulting each other. Acting like children, talking about each other's mother, and I screwed your girl, and all this other stuff. You're a rat. Oh, this guy's this, and that. Like, they think this is entertainment. The reality is, the fight need to live up to the hype in the ring. And it's more focused on the money, which I understand every fighter should be well compensated. And I'll say that to the day I die. But if you're about your legacy, and if you're really about that challenge, and you want to solidify your name as being that guy, then you got to do it in the ring. And you can't go with this whole, oh, well, he hasn't done nothing, or he hasn't this, or, well, I think this and this, and then all of that just to get in the ring after and fighting, and afterwards, now you admit to the public that you just made things up, or you were just trying to entertain, and all of this controversy. And I just feel like boxing doesn't need the soap operas. But at the same time, when you go in that ring and you give it your all, the fans, they will appreciate that, and they will keep coming back and wanting more, and they'll support your careers. But when everything that comes out of your mouth is just money, 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 to the point of, I know that's a legacy fight, right? But I'm going to hold back and hope that that person lose, so I don't have to fight that person. And I can say, what's the difference if I fight him or him? They both lost. At least he won his last fight, even though this guy can't fuck with this guy. You understand what I mean? So my question to Errol Spence and Terence Crawford: are you motherfuckers going to fight? Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.